Today we are healing some battle scars on the cross-country 2007 Volvo XC70. Broke out the back window and ruined the tailgate. Yeah, so the cross-country had a little backing up fender bender in the Starbucks parking lot in Boulder. Even though it's a lifted cross-country XC70, just couldn't see us out the back of his truck apparently, so he backed right into it. You can see where he split this open. This is not metallic, and it's not fiberglass. It's like some sort of polyester fiber pressed material. But it's cracked here. Blew the back window out, cleaned that up, got this little temporary plastic film kit, put some reinforcement on it just to be safe. Got this at AutoZone. I think this was like 20 bucks, this film. It's super clear. But it broke all the way through. Oh, I put this panel back on after I cleaned the glass. You can still hear the glass rattling around in there. But this door's got to come off. Should be fairly easy. It still has a hitch in it. So I believe these two bolts come off. And you can take apart the hinge. You can bust the hinge in half. And then these three bolts are holding it on. And they mount into a plate that can move around. So that's where the adjustment happens. But all I got to do to get it reattached is these. And then I'll move these over because I picked this up off of eBay and it just happened to be based in Denver. It got a little scratched up in the back of the car. Wasn't expecting that, but I'll show you why on that. I don't even know, do I have all the inside pieces? It does have all the inside pieces. Excellent. Got the whole cross country. So you can see here, these are the mounting plates are inside of it, pressed inside. So those hinges hook onto here and then you can adjust it there. So I just need to get the halves of the hinges bolted together and get this set up to sit squarely in its place. Got some scratches across it because while I was there, I also needed to get one of these bumpers, and I found a couple in the junkyards, but they did not have the the backup sensors. So this one's been split since we owned the car. It got hit in the high school parking lot as well, so it's been split, and he happened to have one. $150 cash, walked home with that. Unfortunately, I didn't have a blanket and it sat on top of there driving home and scratched it up a little bit. So we'll buff that out as best as possible and hide it. But at least it will have a back window and will be safe and drivable again. Look at that back on there without cracks. Yeah, today we are mending some battle scars on Lagertha, the battle wagon. So quickly just pulling out these plastic hinge covers. This is actually our windshield wiper fluid. And the disconnect for it, this is a solid line going all the way down through here, and because the wiper's mounted right there. So the disconnect for it is over here in the D pillar. This is the electrical side. It's running the lights and the tail lights. What else in here? It's just it's the headlight. Oh, it's the electrical for the wiper motor. And then the upper brake light that's in the top of the window there. It all comes through here. And its disconnect is also down here. So now, first step of this process is to go inside and pull up these panels. So we're going to pop off this light. That gives us access to a Torx bolt that holds this panel on with some clips. As soon as that's off, we can pop these side panels. Actually, if I remember right, this got to come off. That one, the D pillar's got to come off. This D pillar and this one. So we're going to lay some seats back down and make some room in here to store some materials. Snap! Just like that, a whole bunch of pieces are in the back of the car. I'll come in here and show you. So that side panel's out. I'll move away so you can see. Side panel's out. D-pillar's out. Across the top is out. Everything's disconnected on this side. This down here, this side matching all the way up. I'm going to pull the little tweeters in the back and the D-pillar tweeters. I'm going to remove the tail lights because I just don't want to break them when I'm reassembling the new door on here. I'm assuming it's going to be awkward. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this plastic sill trim right here. I think it comes off right here. There should be two Torx underneath there, or bolt access somehow. I'm going to figure out how that thing comes off. I'm going to pull this trim off because I want to remove this hatch. My assumption is when I'm getting this thing squared up and getting this new door to sit into its spot, I just don't want to have to unlock the door every time. And I'm not sure that hatch works. I don't know if that latch is good or not. So we are going to start without a lock, the lock stop down here. We're going to take that off. Then I can just lift it up and down at will until it fits perfectly, then get everything mounted back in at once. So the taillights are coming off. I did see I need to head to the junkyard. There's a couple XC70s in there and see if I can just grab a new one of these. This one's got a star pattern. I have a box over there with some of these for sale. That's the piece I'm missing. ironically. So yeah, that's the next step, is we're going to pull this little trim piece off right here, and I'm going to pull the taillights off. And presto changeup, both sets of taillights are out, and I don't think these open up. I'm not really sure what these little ports are for, but I do see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Torx bolts, and I think this will pop right off. It'll just lift up. I do have, and you're probably noticing the difference, this is an 07. It did not come with a battery cover back here. I found one in the junkyard and mounted it up as an extra. I think it came off of an 05. Something like that. But anyway, it's a little bit different than the one on the V70, but it works. I thought, man, that's a great idea in the V70, so why doesn't this car have one? So I put one in there. So yeah, let's pull this off and let's see if we can get this kick plate off. That was super easy. 4 little Torx bolts, it came off, and then I still got glass down in here from the shattered battle scars. So I'm going to vacuum this out real quick before I cut myself and it goes anywhere else. And then it's just 2 T40s, and I actually had one of these from when I did the thermostat. Yep, little 3/8 inch drive T40 is going to pull that off. All right, so I already disconnected the windshield washer fluid. It just runs through here, folds back through, and it sits underneath that plastic clip that we took off. Over here, just wanted to show you this real fast. You have these rubber seals that go all the way around this, and I pulled this side back. This is the electrical side. So I pulled this off. It's just a little rubber grommet. It sits on the top of there, goes all the way around. But you can see how this electrical thing now works. It can slide out the side of this plate. And now I should be able to disconnect this. I think it plugs in all the way back over there. Disconnect all these wires, run it back up and run it through, and this door is ready to come off. All right, that was super easy. The wiring harness is pulled through, 3 disconnects. It is pulled through, hanging down, just pulled it through the little gap. Here's my thought. This is just 4, I think these are 4mm Allen keys that are in the middle of this hinge. So these pop apart, and this door is going to come off, and then we'll remount these hinges onto the new door that I just pulled off of eBay. So super stuffed some old towels in here. I'm going to get an assistant, and I will undo these bolts and do the other side. I'm not going to do the show you how it's done. When we come back, if we have a big crease across here, you'll know we dropped it. YouTube, I forgot to catch you up. That wasn't too hard to remove. Did this side, my wife held it. Did the other side, it popped apart. They are really small bolts. They're only that big. Tiny. There's my finger. Gives you an idea. One, not even a fingernail. So, yeah, just 4mm Allen heads. Gonna leave them sitting up here. There's the Allen key. There's the old door, pulling stuff off of it. I'm going to keep all the wiring harness. I think the windshield wiper is broken. I think it broke in the accident. It's not working anymore. At least it wasn't making any noises like it was operating. So that's probably dead. But I'm going to pull the wiring harness off of it. Already have the hinges mounted up roughly how they set. Well, on this one from its original car. So my assumption is if they're in the same spots they were originally on when they took it off, where they left a little ring mark around the edges, maybe it'll fit. So we will find out. I'm going to strip what's left of the parts on that other one, and then I'm going to pull off a bumper. Whew, it's getting higher in the sun as it's setting to the west and coming straight in on me. But while I'm here, never going to have this opened up again. Not this much. So just took some time and cleaned this up with a bucket of cold water and a washcloth. That's all it took. Just washed up the outside of this, up and around. I'll never have this much access to it, hopefully ever again. Everything looks structurally sound. I don't see any creases, any dents in any of the frame structure around here. But I did see, this is probably why that bad boy was screwed on, is it's sitting, this is missing its entire front tab that sticks out like my fingers and grabs onto the little flange on the bumper. So I might have one of these in the backyard as a spare. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like, just reversed. Here's the good one. See this? It's supposed to have this entire section sticking forward. And then as you tighten up this Torx bolt right there where my finger's at, it pulls that forward and just latches onto the bumper. Stretches it forward so it can't fall off the back and just holds it tight. I think I might have another one of these. If not, I'm going to head to the junkyard tomorrow. A couple more while I was here. Oh man, that was not the way to start the van over there behind me. It scared the shit out of me. Alright, so I just put that on there with some black 90-minute gasket maker. This one as well, re-glued that. I stuck some gasket sealer on my drywall screw hole that had punctured through, so we'll keep water out of here. And that is that until I get this new piece. I did get this new bumper. The guy who had the tailgate also had a bumper sitting there, except it's split. Same thing, this same side. So I did go to Harbor Freight today and I got a plastic welding kit, and I'm going to see if I can put the mesh across here, melt it in, and try to get this sealed shut. Before I put this on, it's got all the intact pieces on the side. As soon as I get this new mounting bracket on the side from the junkyard tomorrow, this thing should go back together perfect. Interesting note though, on the cross country, the XC70, it has the antenna, little aluminum or steel plate sitting back here underneath the foam, and this goes through to the inside, but there is no place on the inside to connect. There's no connector on the inside, so I don't know what's going on with that. Right down below, let me know what's up with that. Maybe the 2007s don't use that like the other cars do. Although, I think I just saw it. Hang on. What is this? Would you look at that? It's right there. How do I get to it? There it is. All right, now I gotta figure that out. That's more fun. All right, gonna give this a shot using the recycle and the compost bin. Compost gotta go out by tomorrow morning, so I gotta do this quick tonight. Duct taped it to this side. This is the good side. And right here is our split. You can kind of see it. Just kind of pulled it in tight and holding it here. And I'm gonna see if I can use my new plastic welding kit from Harbor Freight and just put a seam on here somehow with some structure and melt it in and see if it'll hold. So a quick update on the plastic welding. It's going pretty good. I got the mesh melted into the plastic, just using the plastic of the bumper itself and heating up the mesh and letting it melt in and holding it in place. Before I put the mesh on, I just went across the seam and just tacked it like you would metal welding. Just burnt into it and let it cool down and hold itself together, and then laid the mesh on the top and been melting the plastic, or the mesh, technically just heating up the mesh and pushing it until it melts its way into the plastic that we have. It's super strong. Now I have these little strips. I'm going to melt them into the top and just totally cake this in and give it some more material. The only problem is this is super soft metal. I'm not going to touch it because it's wicked hot. But it screws into the tip and it just gets really, really flexible. You can hardly put any pressure on it without bending it. And it finally just broke off. So well, there it is. It finally just broke off on the inside. It's super hot. So I'm just using this damn thing and just shoving it and melting it. Maybe it's a one-time use at this point, but I'll clean it up later. All right, YouTube, that's it. There it is. It's welded together. It doesn't have a lot of tight tolerances under here. It just has to fit underneath the frame. Just letting it cool. I'll hold it in the duct tape jig on the trash can here, the recycle bin, till that is cool to the touch. But it is melted. I saw that I seamed it together, just burnt across the ridge. Then I melted the mesh into the existing material. And then I melted new material on the top of it and just melted it everywhere and just kind of covered it up like a fiberglass patch. It seems to be pretty damn sturdy. I'm prying on it right now. It is not flexing. So I'm going to let it cool and I'll unduct tape it, and we are done for the night until I can find a new part tomorrow. My dad's coming over. He's going to help us. 3 of us are going to hold it, or 2 of us will hold this, and I'll bolt it into place. And we'll start doing test fit until we get the hinges in the right spot. So yeah. Heavy part tomorrow. LKQ pull your part. Got it, 2007. This one's been here since June, and I think it has the bottom taillight sitting over there. That's the one I need. Should be jeweled, should be good. Yeah, this is coming home with me. That's the one I need. And just like that, I think it was 5 T25s, and it's on there, perfect. And it just hit me. See the battle wounds up there? Those are battle wounds before we owned it. It got hit on this side, obviously. Got hit in the back too. This whole thing was broke before we bought it. But that car had been in that other car that I pulled this bracket off of was in the junkyard since mid-June. And I hadn't even gone and looked at it because I expected it to be completely picked. It was barely picked. And it had 2 perfectly good rear and front doors in silver. So I'm going to try to sneak back there this week or next week and grab both of those doors, and we'll get all the battle scars resolved. And check it out, just a quick test fit. The bumper's just sitting there, not mounted at all, just sitting on its studs. This still doesn't have a catch plate left. I did notice when I went to put this bumper back on that the gap was really weird, and I didn't have this rubber trim piece on it. So quickly ran over to my trash pile because I hadn't got rid of it yet, even though today was trash day, and pulled the rubber trim off the old one. So luckily, quick reminder, don't get rid of the old parts until you have all the things you need from them. Yeah, get it back together before you get rid of stuff. That's the moral of the story. Lagertha, the battle wagon's starting to look like a car again. Got the bumper mounted up, it's just snug. This is all on there. I haven't torqued anything. Actually, I don't even think it has torque specs, just probably 24 Newton meters. These are just snugged in. I got the connector for the backup sensors. I think I can connect the battery, make sure everything works. I haven't riveted anything on the fender wells, but I'm going to make sure all the lights are functional because I just replaced this one with one of my extras that were for sale on Craigslist. Luckily, I hadn't sold yet. I'm going to connect it, see that all the lights work, see that the backup sensors are good, and then we'll snug everything down and put some rivets in. Super thumbs up, YouTube! Just got in, all the lights work, that backed up. I stuck a trash can back here, went to back up, beep, 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 beep on the radio. Everything's perfect. Backup sensors are working, brake lights are working, all the turn signals work. So I'm just going to start tightening everything up, and we'll put some rivets in there, and it'll be good to go. And interior trim. That is most definitely not the correct battery. It doesn't even have a vent that I can connect to. When I took it all apart, I found the battery exterior vent was actually sitting here underneath it. So, don't know what that's all about, but we'll tuck it back in until we get the right battery somewhere down the road. But it's working. It's been in there since 2019, the Super Start. I don't even know where you get one of those. But I'm going to start putting this back together. I got to tighten the bolts in. I'm going to put this pad back on. And the bumper's going to get some rivets. I'm just using some 90-minute gasket maker, the black stuff, just extras from olden days. Just a bunch of dabs on the back of this pad. It is back in here. I did drop my 13mm when I pulled it out from doing the 4 bolts on the studs. When I pulled it out, it just nicked the edge of the frame and kicked it off in there, and I was able to stick my light in one of the other holes, find it with a little shininess, and then worm it out with my magnet on a wand. So that worked. Battery's going back in permanent, tires going back in, and this is going to get wrapped up. All right, the lock plate's back in. I just went back in, battery's connected, but I stripped this little bolt, the little 10mm battery connector bolt just broke off. It wasn't even getting tight, just spun its way away. So I'll head to AutoZone or O'Reilly's, grab one of those. It's connected, it's running, it's just not clamped down on the 10mm for the negative side of the battery. But I did put in the lock plate and test fit everything, got it in the right spot. I did see that on the bottom there are 2 little panels that pop out from the bottom. I can get their little tabs easier. I was trying to prime from the top but didn't want to scar it all up. So I'm going to pop these loose, put this trim back in place because any adjustments I need to make I can do. But I went ahead and tightened these up where they're at, and it fits really, really good. But let's get the trim all on there and see how this wraps together. YouTube, this really goes back together so easy. I still haven't done the rivets yet. I did everything else inside. Trim pieces are back in, roof pieces are back in. It's all back together. Pull this shut, close this down. Look how good that looks. Oh, did you hear how solid that sounded? It sounded so good. Looks perfect. It's never looked good it's never had this nice of a butt since 2019 when we first bought it. It's been wrecked on this corner forever. Look at that. I'm so excited how easy this was. I'm going back tomorrow and I'm getting both of those doors. We're going to get rid of some more battle scars. Time for rivets. One easy but short plot twist back wheel's got to come off to be able to get to the 2 rivets that hold the brace underneath the fender cover, the brace that I just bought at the junkyard, to the fender or the wheel well lining. So I'm gonna need some new rotors here soon, probably too. All right, fun stuff. Just like that, YouTube, it's back together and all done on the back end. Yep, wheels back on, rivets are in. It's sitting perfect. It looks so damn good. I'm so happy with this. Looks perfect, cleaned up nicely. Oh, I'm gonna clean off the residue of the whatever that dealership was on that old bumper or tailgate, liftgate. That looks absolutely spectacular. All right, Battle Scars episode 1 is done. Be safe out there, YouTube. Have fun. If I can do it, you can do it. Simple as that. And just like that, the residue is gone. I'm not gonna pimp your car dealership for free, but if you want to, hit me up. Contact me through the YouTubes. I am available depending on who you are, and if I like you, I might allow you to sponsor the channel. Alright YouTube, just a quick update. Car's doing great. Went back to the honey hole at LKQ for that 07 where I got the bumper bracket. I had spun this off. This little screw broke yesterday when I was putting the negative terminal on the battery. So I went back, grabbed one out of that junk car, and then also grabbed the mount for the battery and the hose connector. So this is a little L-shaped thing. So now my battery's got a vent on it like it's supposed to. And a quick sneak peek, I'm actually kind of exhausted. But if you glance over here, there's more to come. That was heavy.